Hey, Nicole here. We are going to talk about the air signs with other air signs. So our air signs are going to be our Geminis, Libras, and Aquarius people. So we'll start first with our Geminis. Gemini, this is a mutable sign, which means there's a flexible energy to Geminis. They're versatile, talkative, communicative type people. They're fun-loving. There's a childlike spirit about Geminis many times. They have a bubbliness to them. A lot of times almost kind of an innocence to them. They're people who need to communicate. They need to have connection with other human beings on a regular basis. And for especially a Gemini moon, let's say, emotionally, they are emotionally fed through constant contact and communication with their partner, their loved ones. So Geminis are the type of people that go very well with other air signs. Since air signs typically, they're cerebral, they're communicators, they enjoy this repartee and this back and forth that happens between themselves and other air signs. Now, the issue with Gemini sometimes, though, is that these types of people can be a little bit shallow, surface energy, so it's joking around about things and having fun discussing things and having fun thinking about things and communicating and this playful thing, this sort of childlike energy that they have with them. But sometimes they don't go deeper. And they keep it on a level that's not very serious, which frankly with the other air signs is just fine. Pure air signs, that's what they're here for. You think of air, the element air, and it is this invisible element, right? We can't see air. We know that it's there. We're breathing it in. It's keeping us all alive as humans, and all living organisms are using air for respiration of some kind. It has to do with how we use our energy, right? So air is this necessary element for us to survive, and it's also, though, the vehicle that we use to communicate with. It's actually our sound waves travel through the molecules in the air bouncing off of one another, right? So air is this interesting, this element that is necessary in a lot of functions that, you look at air and how it applies to water, it evaporates water. You look at air, how it applies to fire, it's what feeds fire, oxygen. Air with earth, you have erosion. So although air is this invisible thing, oh, and there's another video. Oops. Although air is an invisible thing, it is a powerful force. So with Gemini, let's look at Gemini with Gemini. These two together are a fun, bubbly, communicative couple. The issue with Gemini is there just is not, you need some seriousness, okay? So if this is a couple that's looking for a long-term relationship, or even just short-term, for a true romantic relationship, there needs to be some emotional something underpinning the passion of the relationship. You could have two Geminis, though, that are perfectly content with hanging out together or going to a party, let's say, and socializing with friends and then coming home and just talking about how the night was, and that for them is their aphrodisiac. That's totally a definite possibility. But you could also run into issues with two Geminis who have very different moons, that one, let's say, is a Gemini sun with an air moon, which is going to make them very much verbal, cerebral, and a little more shallow. And then you put them with a Gemini that's got, say, a water moon. It's not a good combination. That water moon will never feel nurtured and will feel a little bit exhausted by the relationship and constantly wanting it to feel deeper and more serious, but will be always, the relationship will be lacking that. So anyway, I'm digressing. So let's look at Gemini with Libra. Gemini and Libra, you've got, Libra is ruled by Venus, this is the cardinal sign. Libras are all about relationship and joining two things together, taking two elements, whether they are people, whether they are ideas, whether it is in a piece of art, the colors, okay, and finding harmony between the two things. So finding a place of where there's sort of stasis, where both parties are having their needs met, okay? Libra is an accommodating, people-pleasing personality type. When you place that with a Gemini, they're a fun, social couple. These would be two that would be out having fun together. Frankly, with all of the air signs, I really don't. It's funny because, they say you should be with somebody your same element. But air just lacks passion. And maybe this is just me projecting. I have a fire moon in a water house. My sun's in an earth house. Maybe that's just me projecting my own personal desire for passion in a relationship and need for that. So, I mean, of course, I'm sure there are people out there that are all air, that they don't need the passion. I mean, I've had people come that have done readings that are very air, and for them, sex is not a big deal. Like, they can take it or leave it. So that's a little more the flavor of the relationship you're going to get with air and air. And with Libra, though, Libra is going to be, of all the air signs, the most, it's Venus, and it's relationships. So Libras need a little passion. They really want that. It's a more of a refined, it's not a coarse or a crude kind of sexual energy, but it's definitely one that needs relating. Libras, though, it's in the head. They want to have a partner that is mentally stimulating to them. That's their aphrodisiac. So, but they're definitely, in my opinion, the most sensual of the air signs. So, because of the Venusian element. So Gemini could be fun for a friend, but I don't love this combination for a couple. And speaking as a Libra myself, I mean, I've never had a Gemini relationship. I mean, I've had tons of Gemini friends that are great, but it's just lacking in, again, this is probably just my moon. I mean, your moon's more important. So let's say you have a Gemini moon and a Libra moon, that would work, okay? But sun sign-wise, you need to have some compatibility with your moons, or else it's just going to be fun for friendship, but nothing deeper to take it into the realm of, okay, we're friends and now we're lovers, okay? Moving on to, and I'm not going to talk about the air signs as far as gender to gender, because there's a neutrality there to me. It feels the same whether it's male or female. Now, speaking of Gemini to Aquarius, Aquarius is, these are people who are very social, whether they're an introvert or not. They have a need to connect with other people, other human beings, sharing ideas, sharing things they've learned, sharing causes, okay? They're very much interested in the collective. Gemini is this bubbly little kind of all around, they're all over the place, you know, bouncing from here to there like a little bumblebee on flowers. So this is they're a nice, fun, social couple. And they're both, if this is pure Gemini, pure Aquarius, they're both more of a cerebral energy that's totally fine with there being not as much heat and passion. They're good with it having really interesting discussions and debates and witty, snarky conversation, and all of this thing would be very fun, and it would be a turn on for both the Aquarius and the Gemini. Both these energies are not, Aquarians and Geminis are not known for being very reliable type energies. Gemini has a need, they're for different reasons. Gemini has a need for change, likes a lot of variety. Geminis are multitasker type people, and this is true with their relationships. Many Geminis, many men, my experience on Facebook, social media, the men that are quite, the men that are players, okay, that message you some things where you're just like, wow, you just said that. Of course, I always try and see what somebody's sun sign is, because that, you know, and many times they're Geminis, and it's also the Geminis that will message me these funny messages that they make me laugh, but I'm just like, you are such a player. So that's shadow side of Gemini. And it applies also if you have your sun conjunct Mercury, that means right next to Mercury, that's going to make you like a Gemini. I don't care what your sun is. I have a friend that has this, you know, and she's very flirtatious and fun and bubbly, and you know, and as somebody who loves dating and that kind of thing, and you know, is dating different people, and that's the Gemini energy. It's this multitasking to your love life. So with the Aquarius, that's fine. Aquarius is the same. Aquarius is, of all the signs, they have these odd proclivities when it comes to love and romance, whether they like weird things in the bedroom, whether they like to just think about sex rather than have it. There's just this odd like detachment from doing it the normal way. Like they have to do everything in a kind of a unique, eccentric way, because that's just Aquarius. So you mix that with Gemini, and they could have a very interesting love life, to say the least. You could do like an open relationship kind of thing with these two. So, all right, so that's Gemini. Let's talk about Libra and Libra. So I'm Libra. I was married to a Libra. He and I, when we were dating, I think the thing that both of us are very much partner-oriented. You know, we start dating and immediately we're like boyfriend, girlfriend. And we were friends immediately. Both Libra is there's a people-pleasing thing, right? Like Librans enjoy harmony. They like everybody to kind of get along. They don't really love fighting, but they will confront somebody if they need to. They're cardinal energy. But they would prefer to have things be good. Remember being in that place of stasis. So Libra to Libra happen all the time. I see these many, many times. It's a common, as far as being the same sign, a mirrored sign kind of a thing. You see this a lot in a relationship. I think it's just the nature of the types. They both want to be in a relationship, and they'll enjoy many of the same things. There is going to be a sense of, so this is 7th house, and 7th house, when it's the house of marriage, it's the house of Libra, and whenever somebody's sun falls in your 7th house, at least my experience has been, it's the house of marriage. You would think like, oh, I'm going to like be in love with this person. But it's not actually. It's actually more of this, I just like you. There's a pleasantness there. We're friends. And that's how my experience was with my former husband, it was this friendly thing. Like you feel comfortable and familiar with them and you like them and you enjoy being with them. It's this sort of an energy. But it's lacking in the passion side. So because again, it's air to air. And again, this is also probably me projecting my own fire/water, whatever, crazy moon onto Libra. But that's my, for what it's worth. Hey, it's free advice, so you get what you pay for. Now, Libra to Aquarius, this could be, and it's an interesting one. Again, as a Libra, I've never even been with an Aquarius like as a boyfriend. I have tons of Aquarians, probably I've had more Aquarian friends than anything. And again, as somebody does my 7th house, I have Aquarius in the 7th house. So I like Aquarius as friends. But in general, Libra to Aquarius, I feel like Aquarius is, they have this interesting, because they're unique and they're different and they're all about kind of doing their own thing. And Libra is a little more, not traditional, but Libra's just got that refinement to them. So the Aquarian's going to be interesting to the Libra because the Aquarian's kind of weird. I don't care who you are, if you have Aquarius in your chart strongly or Uranus conjunct your sun, you're going to do things in a way that's different than the way most people do whatever it is that you're doing, if that makes sense, okay? So for Libras are all about aesthetics and beauty and things not being too extreme either way. So Aquarius can be really interesting and inspiring to the Libra because it's different. They think differently than, than a Libran would think. But there can be an issue with the Aquarian being just all over the place, and they're quite flirtatious and can have many friends of the opposite sex, or if a same-sex couple, friends that could be partnership material. And the Libra might not love that. So yeah, it's like Libra can be a little princessy sometimes too, like on the shadow side, or the queen. Libra's either like, and if you're male, you're like either the snotty prince or the king. It's the same kind of a thing. Yeah, Libra Aquarius is okay. But this is great for friends, in my opinion. What do I know? So that's, and then of course, Aquarius to Aquarius. So this couple is zany. I don't know that I've ever read for an Aquarius couple. So much crazy making energy, and both are ruled by Uranus, which is short-term energy. This is like a lightning storm. It comes and then it leaves, right? It comes and you don't know where it's going to hit, what's going to be destroyed or not destroyed, or if it's just going to be a beautiful lightning storm, but you do know that it's not going to last very long. So Aquarius to Aquarius, there's just this lack of there being legs and longevity to the couple, but it will be electrifying and fun while it lasts, and you will introduce each other to a lot of new things, I'm sure. And if it ends up being a couple that is more long-term, there's going to be something unorthodox and unconventional about the way that they structure their relationship. So whether they, live together before they're married, or don't live together at all, but are together for a long time, whatever. It's going to be something different and unique. So that's the air signs. Okay.